Good afternoon, love, and good afternoon, light, illuminators and wayshowers. Thanks for joining me once again. This is Wendy, bringing to you my highest joy and expression of the language of light and all the languages of lights. Nielo miata, liambo soveshno tovia kielesia, nemi tevi oma, nina nielo koteve korosho. Sia noti ile inti alampono, mani intevelo kuseveso male vesho toviana keliata. Elekotoveshe, neano, aya. Niatovese. Welcome to the sun porch. See, Dave can't resist. So I saw the sun shining through and I said, oh my gosh, I have to do a light. All of a sudden it was like a light language blessing was coming through it. And so there we are. It was just there. We're joining us from the sun porch. The sun is just getting to set this afternoon. And there's Dave. So I was just inspired to do a light language blessing from the sunroom, and all of a sudden Dave popped in. So hey, hi. Oh, and I've got my turtle hat on.
I was just looking at information about the Book of Secrets, Osho.
So
it turns out that he's very much similar to the things that Bashar talks about.
Isn't it though? So I was unpacking and happened to come across the Book of Secrets by Osho, and so I showed it to Dave and explained to him that I actually read the entire book. So he was looking up researching about the book and realized that there was a lot of other people like Deepak Chopra who had also written a book about the book, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I purchased the book, I don't know how many years ago it's been now, and it was shortly before my awakening, or part of my awakening, and I literally was guided to read the whole book. So maybe that's why I was inspired to do a light language message too. I don't know. Motoya ishubua hakile subure esoma aleke devesona le kishe le suburo kushe motive halakasi. You never know what's going to be a part of your journey, and it's really funny because I had no idea about these sorts of ideas and meditation, and so I was very new into all of this, into my awakening process. So I literally was guided to read the whole book, and really it's a book of the 112 ways of meditation.
The little
methods.
Some of the little summary I read about him, very interesting, but he had come up with all these different ways of meditating. Some of them sound pretty crazy, but the idea behind it is generally to get you into the frequency of being in meditation. And once you're able to get there and recognize that frequency, then you don't have to do all the crazy things anymore. You could just get into that frequency.
Well, I have to say, this was before I started really understanding and receiving channeling and light languages. And so I would say that literally was probably one of the paths for me of opening that up and learning to meditate.
And I'm certainly not an authority on any of this or him or that book, because I have never read it, and I probably have not read anything significant about the author.
So perhaps once again, the synchronistic message impromptu, maybe this is for somebody to look into the book. Maybe it's a thread for you just to follow and not necessarily read the book, but where does it take you? So that's an interesting synchronicity. And since we're making the video, I know we're actually on our way out, but we found the artist of the turtle painting. So by following your highest joy and excitement, we both reached out to him, and Dave looked him up. Actually, Dave did the research, found the artist, and sent him a message, sent him a picture of the painting, asked him if it looked familiar, and lo and behold, he's right in Birmingham, Alabama, and has his own studio. And so he got a delightful conversation. Is there anything you'd like to add to that, since you were the one who conversed with him?
Well, he said he painted it when he was 7.
So,
and continued to paint.
So if you guys figure, that painting is 52 years old. He painted in 1970. So this is pretty exciting.
And he shared what his value of the painting should be, and it was way more than we paid. So I didn't tell him that we
what we paid for
little.
it. Although I don't know if he watches the video. I might have said in the video, but
if he wants to watch the video.
But anyway, so that was a very interesting thread, and to find out that he lives right here. He's still an artist. He has a gallery, although we're not sure exactly what his artwork is today. But perhaps we'll be able to. Well, we plan to, not perhaps, but we're only about an hour away from Birmingham, so if that, really. And so we do plan to go say hello and visit his gallery. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think he said it was in a
like in a mall,
like a mall, antique mall shop. So I don't think he's present there usually.
Oh, right.
But we'll get to see.
At least perhaps get to see his art, and so
then,
when we do, we'll send you the link. And if you guys are here in the Birmingham, Alabama area, and you guys want to check out his work too, we'll put the link there. So, but yeah, so I thought that was a fun, exciting synchronicity. So we just wanted to share that with you since I had the turtle. So yeah. Nieloko, divisionoria la que se po utoveshno sevesha. Ina hiurko se vesumulia vasonomaha la etoa elikisemo soveshe la intavako somatova anuma alakishe tiano. And it really is just our highest joy to share our highest joys with all of you in that we inspire you, as so many others have inspired us, to share more of all that you are, that you may learn more and more of all that you are. And actually, it was a really interesting conversation, and with the artist, and so even every meeting is a divine meeting, and even in that short interaction, everyone gained something really valuable just from from the conversation that Dave had with the artist. And so it was evident that we were definitely supposed to meet. So that was really just an uplifting thing that we wanted to share with all of you. So,
and we certainly wanted to share with him that even though he might have only been 7 when he painted the picture,
how much I loved
50
it.
years later, someone got to enjoy it for the first time and still appreciate it and appreciate his work. And of course, there were a lot of synchronicities with what was in the painting, and things surrounding the painting and the turtles and all that, of course. But
but that's pretty cool, you know.
It's good to be able to share with someone who was part of that. Yeah.
And now he's an artist, and he's followed his highest joy and excitement all of his life. And as Dave said, here we are, 52 years later, and he painted it. See, this is what I think is so amazing about this, is that he was only, 7?
Yep.
So, and I fell in love with this painting, and yet, so if this really tails onto the messages that I've been receiving over and over again, that we all have been receiving over and over again. Expressing yourself and your highest joy and excitement is your core vibration. And this guy, when he was 7, painted the painting. And I'm still enjoying it today. So again, what are we afraid of? Where are we not sharing our highest joy? And look where that took him with no insistence. And as he said himself, he's a valued artist. So that's pretty exciting. That I don't even know how to even put words to that. That if there's all of these things that we hesitate, the not good enoughs, or I don't have time right now, or any of the reasons that we're not following our highest joy. Now, I wasn't planning on making a video today. I wasn't.
Well, it's a reminder too to think back about your childhood and what are the things that you enjoyed to do as a child.
Yes.
And usually those are pretty good
indicators
and
it's
clues
the same
to
for me.
What is your highest joy?
And as I'm unpacking all these boxes that are my fake reality, but that I'm creating them now, I have had the same passions pretty much in varying degrees all my life. So it's very interesting synchronistically how many empty photo frames I was going through today and repacking. And so framing and art and another piece of art that we came across that Dave's been researching a little bit too. So a lot of the theme has been about art and creating. And even for myself, all of these things that I've been saving so that I can start creating more and more of all that I am. And so one of the reasons I saved so many of these frames was because when I started receiving light language symbols and these sacred circuitry, it was like this passion in me that I was guided to share them with the world so that the world could wake up to accelerate their own awareness of their own multidimensionality, to open those doors, to unlock the same things that were unlocked in me. And by the sharing from others, the sharing of the sacred circuits from Sirius, from, through Daryl, Anka, from Bashar, and what it did for me and how it opened up the portals within me, and how saving those, I was thinking, I really want to create these symbols and frame them and present them to the world. And so when Dave sees all these frames, he's like, maybe you should put your symbols and write them and frame them. And I'm like, see.
So we're making the video on Wendy's phone. So we're looking into the phone at ourselves, recording the video. So I'm talking to myself when I say this because I'm looking at myself as in a mirror.
That's true.
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
What are we waiting for?
What am I waiting for?
What am I waiting for? I had to show you guys the sun just because, come on here. Switch over a little. There. I just wanted you guys to get some of these awesome sun rays and light codes, and we're talking about light codes, and it's just so exciting to share this stuff with you. And so I realized that over the last 7 years, my artistic expression, when I didn't have the surroundings to do the physical stuff necessarily, although I have been still writing symbols in my books, but to actually frame them and all that, but it was for now, and to talk about it now, because somebody needs to hear about it now. And in this moment with the light shining through, and like I said, I wasn't even planning to make a video. It was just, we were just getting ready to leave, and Dave was going to go hop in the shower, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I just saw the sun coming through. And so
I didn't shower yet.
So it was like, I always know that, and that when I'm guided to share my highest joy, that there's at least one person on the planet that needs to hear the message. And that's all that needs to hear the message is the other person. It's in the sharing. And when an artist creates art, they're creating the art from their heart. It's not about how much is this going to fetch me necessarily. It's the artist keeps creating and keeps creating and keeps creating. And it must be pretty interesting and exciting and a little validating and rewarding to know that someone actually really loves the picture, the painting that you painted when you were 7, and and what it means to me and what it meant to me and us when we saw it. So
So the interesting thing about the story is, as we've sort of been talking about abundance and how it doesn't always
well, that's
have
true
to be
too.
money. He never sold the picture to anyone. He had it and he gave it to a friend, and we don't know how it ended up in the store, but we then purchased it for very little money, and he never received money for the picture.
Right.
50 some years later, at least he got a message from someone who really appreciated his work and effort. And everything is now, but in our linear perspective of things, 50 years later, something he did brought new appreciation and his opportunity to feel abundant without having to associate it with money.
Exactly.
And he was really excited to hear that we had it, and we reached out to him. Perhaps we will meet someday. But that's sort of, there's a lot of lessons to be learned all the way around.
And it is a reminder to all of us that abundance really, money's just one form of abundance, but abundance is not only, as Bashar says, the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. And I will add even the adding with the and no insistence on an outcome, which has nothing, but that in of itself, and that an inspiration is abundance. A message from someone else is abundance. A smile is abundance. Just as Dave said, just letting him know how much we appreciate it, that's abundance to him. And just a note of appreciation, literally writing a note of appreciation to send it to somebody, maybe touching base with somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. All of these things are abundance. And I think that honestly, most artists, when they, of course, maybe all artists dream of being rich and famous artists, but yet I think that really the great artists that we recognize today from centuries ago, I don't think that they would have ever imagined really what monetary value their paintings would fetch today. Millions of dollars, millions. But it's the value and appreciation of the person who says, yep, I think that painting's worth that. But yet at the time, that wasn't their goal to say, oh, I hope in 2000 or a couple hundred years or something that somebody pays a lot of money for my painting. I'm certain they were not thinking that when they were painting it.
Well, certainly not when you were 7.
Well,
you might have been, but
probably not. So, and I just think it's wonderful. I'm astounded at the synchronicity of the whole thing, and once again, synchronicities themselves are forms of abundance. So I think I'll close on that in this beautiful ray of sun, and to remind you, all of you, just what beautiful, beautiful expressions of source that you are. And anything anytime we're feeling any kind of discord, ill at ease about a certain thing, it's because your higher self is telling you it's not true. It's not true. And that you are wonderful, you're talented, you're beautiful, you're amazing. And whatever it is that you have to share is needed by all that is. Likoniasa buriasha ora, samisiporikia, levizomoniata vakumate lesona, plahela, leamborogoseva, leovershana. Ashana kolea, shanaburiana vike. And I just had this beautiful image of Yeshua. Nyaborikia sabonumiara, kilusupu ote, zeveshunoteve oraha, nupu unta, ikoshonose, molunte veshene ilano, palite, Niaboresemo, imota. La koshene busia. Do it anyway. I just hear Mother Teresa. No borekete. Do it anyway. Maliando vesheno beliara kasavase sumutuvia ela ketchano. Don't let anyone diminish or talk you out of your light, because no one has that power over you unless you allow it in. Unless you buy into it, believe it. Because what you believe is the reflection that you'll see in your physical reality. Lactiero, it's physics. La zobotela into mayshona alakaya naso miato. I love you. I love you. Lankosha mase niatoa.
The sharing. Thank you.